Afternoon, Facebook, depending where you are in the world. It's Jerry coming to you from Guanacaste, Costa Rica, the Rythmia Life Advancement Center, a life advancement center unlike any other in the world, where we use sacred plant medicine, ayahuasca, in combination with a number of different modalities and teachings to bring about something called a soul merger. This is Success Advice from the Mother, number 5, which is a part of a series. And what makes this place so special? Well, first off, there's been over 16,000 people through this program, and 97.71 electronically report that they had a life-changing miracle during their stay. Better than that, 90.22% at the 6-month mark on the 6-month survey say that this was the week that changed their life. 900 out of every 1,000 people, 9,000 out of every 10,000, 18,000 out of every 20,000 say that this was the week that changed their life. As a result of that, we get business leaders, thought leaders, actors, actresses, athletes, billionaires from all over the world who come here, and people just like me and you, to experience this program, which incorporates, like I said, ayahuasca, breathwork, meditation, yoga, farm-to-table organic food, the cleanse, metaphysical teaching programs all week, and 4 ceremonies. It's an amazing experience. And what the end result is something called a soul merger, or in certain civilizations and teachings called a soul reclamation, which is basically a putting back together of you, which feels like, for the older folks here, old FM radios that used to get caught between 2 stations. When you move the knob a little bit, it all of a sudden started coming in singular stereo. And that's the feeling of having this soul merger. Because of this, like, tons of great people come through the doors here. On our board of directors, we have Michael Bernard Beckwith from the Agape Spiritual Center in Los Angeles. We have Martin Luther King's son, a civil rights leader in his own right, Martin. We have Ron White, the comedian, and Kelly Slater, the surfer, Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer, Tony Coe, the Fortune 100 wealthiest women in the world, founder of NYX Cosmetics. We have Jack Canfield, who wrote Chicken Soup of the Soul, amongst many others. We have Earl Koski, the business leader. We have, I think that's it on the board, but I mean, that's just our board of directors. And every week there's people that, most of which we can't say because of their celebrity, who come here and experience this program with everyday people like you and me. So one of the things that we've seen, and we've done an enormous amount of volume, right? So if you figure there are 4 ceremonies every week, so we've had over 64,000 ayahuasca ceremony experiences experienced by our patrons. 64,000. So we know a little bit about it. And I myself have done 339 as of last week. And I learned a lot by having these out-of-body experiences on the medicine. But what we've seen as a company is, after someone has a soul merger, usually the first thing that they want to do is turn over their life in gratitude for being alive and giving this opportunity to live on this garden of a planet, and to actually become a beneficial presence on the planet. That's what they intend to do. And that becoming, becoming this beneficial presence on the planet actually results in a monetary equivalent of energetic goodwill, which shows up in the form of money. So after we become hugely great at something, and we obtain mastery, we get in this situation where the universe rewards us with all kinds of great things. Now, once you decide to become this beneficial presence, I'm going to tell you, it's the hardest thing you will ever do in your life. It's going to take longer than you've ever thought. It's going to be harder than you could ever imagine. And it's going to deliver more benefits to you than you could ever fathom in your wildest imagination. Fact. This is an amazing thing to embark on in life. And there really isn't any alternative to the goodwill that's accumulated and reciprocated as a result of declaring that you want to become this beneficial presence. So what does it look like? Well, at the end of our life, right, we've either consumed more resources than we've created. We've either helped more than we've hurt or hurt more than we helped. We've either left this positive mark and left the world a better place or a worse place. That's in our community, our family, our love life, our business, our church, whatever we decide to do to become this beneficial presence. And what I can tell you is this success advice from the mother. One of the first things she said to me is that you have to teach people that losing and screwing up is good. Failure is good. So in our lives, right, especially in our formative years, we're taught, don't spill the milk, draw within the lines, don't make mistakes, don't miss the shot, don't do anything that's out of the norm or the ordinary. And the mother has shown us that the exact opposite is true. What I would say to anybody is yes, we do have to watch that we don't spill the milk, and we do have to keep order in our lives and respect our brothers and sisters and do all that. But I'm going to tell you, the first thing, once we learn how to eat and how to dress and how to do all these things, how to play basketball in school, how to get good grades, how to do all that, as soon as we get out or as soon as we embark on anything new, I would say fail early and fail often. Fail early and fail often, because it's through this trial and error that we develop an expertise in a particular thing. It is through trial and error. There's a study, and I just was informed of the study, and the study was that in a college, and I'll get, by next week, I'll have the name of the college, but they split the classroom into two groups. In the one group was given the summer project, it was a pottery thing, of creating the best single vase that they could create. So half of the class, so 40 kids, their whole summer project was collectively to build one vase that was perfect. And the other half of the class was to perfect building the most amount of vases they could build. So the project is over, the kids come back, and the one side of the class showed their vase, and the other side of the class showed 1,000. And the thing was, the 1,000 were better than the one. The 1,000 vases were more perfect than the one. And it goes to show you volume over precision. So prior to this, I was in Well, prior to this business, so my little thing is in business. I became a millionaire in my 20s, and in my early 40s, in my 30s, I took a company public. In my 40s, I sold my company for about 89 million and change dollars. So I understood something. That business was a plastic surgery business. And I want to tell you what I found throughout. I think I had 140 offices when I sold it throughout the continental US. And what was clear to me is that the doctors that did the most surgeries across the board had the least complaints. So what does that tell us? That tells us that if we're going to do something, there is no substitute for volume. And with volume, you will have failures. It's part of having volume. So the first thing I would tell a kid who is going to play basketball is to take as many shots in practice as you possibly can. Shoot thousands and thousands and thousands, because through volume, we find precision. And you can't shoot the basketball without missing a ton. So the difference between the person who hits it out of the park and the person who doesn't is they quit. So anybody who's swung a baseball bat, the first 10 times you swing, you're going to miss the ball. If you're lucky, you're going to tig a couple. But from that missing, we either quit or never give up and become a Hank Aaron, become a Babe Ruth, by not quitting. That is the difference. So the difference between finding this winning precision and quitting is simply determination, because nobody starts out good. There's very few prodigies. I've heard this and I've never seen one. I heard a lot of people saying, "Oh, this kid was just so amazing. When he was 6 years old, he saw his first piano and he went right up and played." Quite frankly, I'm not believing it. I don't believe it. He may have had an advantage or a natural talent in learning to play quicker than someone else, but I don't believe he just walked up and played. And I want to tell you why. Because Tiger Woods at 5 years old wasn't a good golfer. And I know for a fact that Michael Jordan didn't make his high school basketball team. And in my opinion, and many people's opinion, has the greatest basketball player of all times, right? So the difference is this internal belief. And once we have a soul merger, see, once we get outside of our body and we're in the universe and we see the completed vision of what we have yet to begin, we know that it exists. And because we know that it exists, we don't care how often we fail in getting there, because we know it exists. So there are those people that and you'll meet them and they have this inner confidence that they're going to become the greatest of this at all time, whatever this is. And they have that. What I'm going to tell you is when you come to a place like this and you have that out-of-body experience and it shows you your completed vision, it shows you playing the guitar like Eric Clapton or Prince or something like this, or it shows you playing golf like Tiger Woods or making pizzas like Papa John or whatever, the making cosmetics like Tony Co. Whatever the thing is, it shows it to you, and all of a sudden you have that confidence. And that confidence is merely having seen something that is there in the astrals and not here yet. And the difference is you will never quit because you've seen it. You've seen it. And that is the greatest benefit, the greatest benefit to losing. The more that I can lose. For a business person, the more mistakes that they make early on, right? The less mistakes they make later on. So it's just part of the process. Now, unfortunately, some of us were brought up in households where you spilled the milk and you were stupid. You got a C in school and you were an idiot. You got a D and your father said to you, you're never going to amount to anything. And they made failures a mortal sin. And if you've been brought up that way, it's going to be awfully hard for you, not impossible, but awfully hard for you to overcome that voice inside that every time you fail says that you're not enough. And now you have confirmation bias because deep down you're feeling you're not enough. And that failure just reconfirmed it. The beautiful part about plant medicine is that done properly, and I say this, done properly in a place like this, it removes it. It removes it. So like in our failures just allow us to understand we're closer to the success. In other words, if I failed 5 times in a row, that success is now 5 places closer. And if you feel that way, the whole nature of your being in a relationship, building a church, building a business, opening a restaurant, becoming a healer, changes. And then the journey becomes the destination. So the journey in itself then becomes the destination. And that is the greatest gift, right? The greatest gift is understanding that. And once we understand that, we don't mind putting in a lot of work and losing, because it's only a loss if we quit. If we don't quit, it's a win because we're one step closer to success. And that is absolutely, irrefutably, 100% true. 100% true. I said this the other week. My friend Jack Canfield wrote a book called Chicken Soup of the Soul, which sold 500 million copies. Think about that. 500 million copies. And the first 146 publishers he went to told him, no, it won't work. Think about that. Think about what he must have seen it in a dream or in the astrals that his whole thought was complete. Because, the most confident of us, around the 10th time someone tells us no, we start to get shaky. Imagine being told no 140 sometimes. I couldn't even imagine it. But that's what kind of vision you need in order to really become a true beneficial presence on the planet. So the great thing about Jack is his ability to not quit. And I want to tell you something. If you ever want to talk to someone and see a ton of regret, speak to someone who's in their 80s who has a year or two left to live or something like that, who their life had started things, then quit them, either because they didn't believe they were enough or they were searching for an easier way. You want to talk about looking regret in the face? I don't want you to be that person. I don't want to be that person. And that's why a place like Rythmia exists. So do us a favor. At your first chance, come here and experience this thing for yourself. And in the interim, I have 2 books out. Truthonomics, that's about manifestation. And I can't say it on Facebook, but Crap the Moon Said, which is about how Rythmia came into being. Please read these things. Get ready. Come here for the week. change your life, really change your life, and we will see you at Rythmia.